Hello everybody and welcome back to the Crooked Hour. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. It's the last video of the year, probably will last event. Don't know if I'll come out with some more videos. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Just busy, man. Just busy. Next year, I hope to come back with new show. I want to revamp this shit. I want to become consistent. I want to have just like one video a week where I cover everything. Bet both ways, rapid fire picks, just all in the one. Boom, upload that once a week. That's my plan. But I'll see how we go. So something similar to what I'm doing today. This is in the testing stage, I guess, for the final event of the year. So kick back. We're going to be going through the whole event and how to bet both ways on every single fight, as well as giving you my pick. So we're going to give it a try. So first off, Morozov versus Journey Newsom. I'm going to try and fly through these prelims so we get to the main event, and then I'll break down the main events a little bit more. Sergey Morozov's much more of a striker. Journey Newsom's a lot more explosive. So the way I see this going is if Journey gets it done, it's going to be via KO. And if Morozov gets it done, it's going to be via decision. Journey Newsom's going to have to stop this by power. Maybe he does hurt him and just keeps it on the feet. But I don't think he's going to be able to defend the takedowns unless he really staunches Sergey Morozov. And I think if it goes to a decision, Sergey is going to win just because of that pressure. I feel like the safest bet for Journey, although he's an underdog, a pretty big underdog. Let me double check how big of an underdog he is. Where is it? Yeah, he's a pretty big underdog, 3.21, which you should probably just play that if you wanna. But I think the only way he wins this is by KO. So Sergey Morozov by decision or money line, but I'd just go decision at this point, and Journey via KO. I don't have a prop on this fight because it could go both ways. Could go both ways. But I do think Sergey's gonna win just by wrestling. Alright, next up, David Dvorak versus Manel Kape. This is a very close fight, I see a lot of people on the side of the dog. See a lot of people on the dog, David Dvorak. I do see it. But Manel Kape's just physically stronger, I feel like. And I feel like that's going to be the slight difference in this fight. David Dvorak, very technical. Manel Kape, pretty technical. But I feel like Manel Kape's more dangerous and could sting him a few times in this fight. That's really going to change the tide of this fight. So that's why I've got Manel by decision. Let's see if it's worth to play a money line on this one. What are we saying? I'd probably go by decision. You could double it up, decision or KO. And David Dvorak, I'd just be playing his money line. Because he is a decent dog, and you don't want to take out those other opportunities by playing him by a prop. Manel Kape, though, I think he gets it done by decision. I think David Dvorak is defensive enough to not get clipped and KO'd. He might get clipped, but I don't think he's going to get KO'd. I think Manel Kape's just going to land the better shots throughout the fight. And no prop for that one either. Brian Battle versus Renat Fakhridinov. That's totally how you say it. This one's a hard one because I really want Brian Battle to win. I'm a fan of Brian Battle. But Renat is probably going to win. That's the sad part, I believe in Brian Battle's hype. And if he beats Renat, the hype just goes up heaps more. But he's taken this on short notice. I think Renat is just going to wrestle Brian Battle. Brian Battle isn't a bad wrestler, but I think Renat, he's Russian. So his level of wrestling is going to be a different level, and we've seen it. Brian Battle's going to have to really do something special to win this fight, I believe. So that's why I've got it. I think Renat gets it done by decision, He doesn't have the best level of opponents throughout his career, but, he goes KO, submission, decision, KO, decision. I feel like against a level of opponent as Brian Battle, he's not a pushover. I feel like he's going to be able to survive it enough. So I've got Renat by decision. And if Battle gets it done, it's the same thing as I said about Journey versus Morozov. I believe if Brian Battle gets it done, it's going to be inside the distance, catching Renat in a sub or catching him with a nice shot and getting it done. But if it goes to the distance, I really think Renat's going to be able to get the job done. And no prop for that one either. I don't know what to say for that one, yeah. No prop because Brian Battle might just catch him early, like he did last time. Rafa Garcia against Machete. This is another good one. Another good fight. This is a stacked card. I feel like they're both live for a finish here, like a KO, TKO finish. I feel like they're very both live here. Machete is the better striker, but I think Rafa Garcia is the better, well-rounded fighter. Like, if they just stay on the feet, which Rafa does do sometimes, Machete is going to be able to piece him up. But if Rafa, mixes the clinch, mixes the strikes, mixes the grappling, he could definitely get this one done. And that's why I have got Machete by KO or moneyline. You could go either way, moneyline KO, or you could just double chance it by KO or points. I don't know what that's paying out at. My line hasn't dropped yet. And I'm thinking Rafa by decision. They are both live for a KO, I do believe. But I think Rafa's way to win this is by mixing it up in the clinch, mix it up in the grappling, and just grinding this out to a close decision. And I've got Rafa. I've got Rafa in this one. I just believe he's going to be able to grind it to a decision in a very close fight. Very close fight. What are the odds saying on this fight? Because I was just about to say just stay away from this fight. But I mean, if we've got a big underdog, it's probably worth just betting the underdog. Like, it's very close. Rafa Garcia paying 1.78 and Machete paying 2.08. Oh, I just don't know. I think it's worth playing whoever you just think's going to win. Like, if you believe that Rafa Garcia is going to be able to mix in the clinch, the takedowns, the grappling, the striking, and get the winner, if Machete is just going to outclass him on the feet, it could go either way. It could go either way. Said Nurmagomedov versus Sajukab Kakramanov. I'm getting better at my names. I am slightly. Like, come on, give me some credit, I'm getting there. What do I have for this one? I've got Said by decision, Kakramanov by decision, fight over 2.5, and that is just because they're just both so good that I feel like they're not going to be able to finish each other. And I think they have a lot of decision wins too. I hope I'm not mistaking that for another fight. Like, yeah, eight of his wins have been by finish. We're talking about Said. And the rest have been by decision. His last fight was a decision, sub, KO, decision, loss, KO. But the level of opponent, Sajukab, he's coming off a decision win as well. And he's got, 7 wins by finish. I mean, that is a large majority because he's only 10 fights in. It's a very close one, but I think they're just going to be so good that they're going to not be able to finish each other in a very close fight to a decision. Probably might even be a split decision, And I don't even know who I've got in this one. But I'd be picking Said by decision or Sajukab by decision. Or if you're really confident in one, you're really confident, just play the money line. That's what I believe. And I have a prop bet for this one, fight over 2.5, because I feel like this one's going to go long. Because as I said, I don't think they're finishing each other. They got finishing capabilities, but against each other, I just don't know. Julian Marquez versus Deron Wynn. I don't like Deron Wynn. I'm not saying I don't like him as a person. I don't like him as a fighter. Like, what I seen Phil Hawes do to this man was basically illegal. Like, it was brutal. It was just brutal. There's no way to go around it by saying, like, oh, bad night for Deron Wynn. It was brutal. It was a murder. Marquez. I feel like Marquez might snatch up the neck here. But he could easily KO him as well. So I've got Julian by inside the distance, and that is a bet that I know right now I'm going to be playing when it drops on my sports book. And if you're on Deron Wynn, I'll be probably playing by decision. He could just play his money line because he is a massive underdog. Like what is he paying? Deron Wynn, 2.39. I just think he's way more likely to win this by decision if he's going to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd look at him. I'm not judging him off his body. Come on. I'm not that mean. But just look at... Can you see him finishing him? I just can't. So, Deron win by decision. Julian Marquez by inside the distance. I feel like that's the right bet to make. And I've got fight does not go the distance because I do believe Julian Marquez is going to win, and that plays into him finishing the fight. You know. Jake Matthews. Fellow Aussie, let's go. Versus Matthew Samuelsberger straight off the bat. I got Jake Matthews. I think his boxing is too slick. And I've got Jake Matthews by decision because Matthew Samuelsberger is tough and he's rarely getting finished. Like, whoops. I want to have a look at this. Like, he's got finished twice. Half of his losses are by finish, right? But I think he's too tough when it comes to the boxing, and I think Jake Matthews, he's going to be landing flush shots, but I just don't know if he's got that extra pop in his shots to just flatline Matthew Samuelsberger, when we know Matthew Samuelsberger is a strong man. You know, I've got Jake Matthews by decision, Samuelsberger by moneyline because he is a decent dog. Like, what is he paying out at? Matthew Samuelsberger, 3.02. Yeah, I'll just be playing his money line if you're a believer of Matthew Samuelsberger, but I've got Jake Matthews. Corey McKenna versus Shireen Vlismas. I think I said that right. I've got Corey McKenna. I think the underdog's going to get it done. Her grappling really impressed me last time. Like, really impressed me. I didn't see it coming. She impressed me, you know. Usually after somebody impresses me, I back them in their next fight. That doesn't work. But it's something I stick to. I'm going for Corey McKenna here. But I do got to say, Vlismas could win this one by a decision. But Corey McKenna is a dog. It's hard not to take. Vlismas could piece this out up on the feet, though. Defend the takedowns and win this. I've got McKenna via money line. Safest bet. You know, she's an underdog. She could get a finish. She could go the distance. You never know. It's safer to pick the money line on a dog like this where they're live and the odds aren't too close. Or Vlismas by decision. I don't see her finishing Corey McKenna. I don't think Corey McKenna's ever been finished. Yeah, she's never been finished. I don't think Vlismas has the power to finish her. Sure, she's got the boxing, but I don't know if she has the power. You know, she might tag Corey McKenna with a few shots where some people would just cover up and kind of try and trade back. I could see Corey McKenna getting a clinch or something and holding on because she does have the wrestling advantage. So I'm going for Corey McKenna. That's my pick. If you're on Vlismas, decision. If you're on Corey McKenna moneyline, I think those are the two best things to bet. And I've also got a prop bet fight goes the distance because I believe that's more likely than it not to go the distance. Next up, Cody Brandage versus Michael Olajade Strickland. That one. Got Brandage via moneyline because he could win this by grappling. But if he does, I do feel like it's most likely via KO. Like he just tags Michael with something and, you know, gets the finish or... Yeah, I don't know how Cody Brandage wins this one. It's safe to say my pick is Macau. And I've got Macau by KO. And I feel like he's going to KO him in the first 2 rounds. That's why I've got my prop fight under 2.5. I'm going to smack this one, probably put it in a parlay. But Cody Brandage, if you're betting him, just bet his money line. Like, what is he paying out? He's another big dog. Like, these real big dogs... Yeah, 3.27 Cody Brandage is paying. Just play his money line if you think Cody Brandage is going to get it done. Impressive performance against Gore. He's got some momentum behind him. But I think Michael's a next step up. It'll be interesting though. Bobby Green versus Drew Dober. I've got Bobby Green in this one. Drew Dober though, nice kicks. Strong chin as we all know. Chad chin. He's got the Chad chin. He's a more diverse striker, but I think Bobby's a much better boxer and more technically sound. He might have the chin like Drew Dober, but he's defensively better. I'd have to go Bobby Green by decision if I'm on the side of Bobby Green, or Dober by decision. I just don't see each person finishing each other here. You know, I have already put a bet on Bobby Green by money line, which is another good bet you can take. But if you really want that profit, I think the safest bet is by decision. But if you just believe in Bobby Green and betting more as a fan, like I am, I'd go Bobby Green by money line. And he is an underdog. And if you're on the side of Dober, it's hard because he very well could get the finish. But I'd be shocked if he got the finish because Bobby Green, you know, fought Fiziev, didn't get finished. He doesn't get finished against a lot of high-level people. So I'd probably play Dober by decision or just play his money line because I know, although Bobby Green is a dog, the odds aren't too far behind. Like Drew Dober is still paying 1.65. So if you really believe in Dober to get this done, money line's a safe bet. But if you're kind of on the fence and you're like, I want some profit out of this. Like if Drew Dober's going to win, if I'm putting my money on Drew Dober, I want money. I'd be playing the decision because I feel like that's how he might get it done. Moving on up the card. Oh, and I also have a prop. Fight to start round 2. I think that smacks. I don't think either man's getting finished in the first round. I feel like it's going to be I think that's like 90% likely to hit. If it doesn't hit, I'm sorry. But I feel like that's safe to put in a parlay. Like, fight to start round 2. It's probably paying jack shit, but I'd like that in a parlay. Just to boost it that little bit more. Alex Caceres versus Julian Erosa. Keeping this one short and sweet. I think Erosa subs him. And if Alex does get the win, I think it's by decision. But if you're on the side of Alex, I'd just play his money line because he is an underdog. But I think Erosa subs him. I think he subs him. I think there's too many opportunities. Like, he's going to clip him and sub him, or he's going to be grappling with him and sub him. I don't know. I see Alex Caceres getting subbed. That's my pick. Otherwise, I think kind of stay away from this fight because I don't think Alex is a good dog. And I think Julian Erosa's money line is too small to bet. So, I don't know. I might sprinkle a little bit on Erosa by sub and just stay away from Alex. Next up, Amir Albazi versus Alessandro Costa. Albazi by decision, I think smacks. Costa's good. And he's got a lot of subs, which is something Albazi has to be careful of. But I think Albazi's just that next level up. It's that next level up against Costa. And I think if Costa gets this done, it's going to be inside the distance. Big shot. Like, let's go over his record. Like, we've got 3 KOs and 6 subs. Like, it's going to be something where he's going to tie Albazi up in a sub and get the finish. Otherwise, I just see Albazi being that little bit better on the ground, better on the feet, winning most exchanges, and I think he gets it done. But Costa by sub is live, like, because Albazi loves to go to the ground, but he's just very tight on top. Like, it's going to be hard for Costa to sub him. Yeah, it's going to have to be something like a scramble and stuff, which is something you don't catch Amir in. You know what I'm saying? I think Albazi's the play. I think he's the guy to back, but for the odds, I don't know. Albazi by decision, though, I don't mind it. Won't be playing it, though. Don't recommend you play it, but if you really want to back Albazi and you don't like the money line, decision isn't bad. Next up, the co-main event between Arman Tsarukyan and Damir Ismagulov. I've got Arman to win. I believe Arman will win. I'm a big fan of Arman. I think he got was robbed last time out. Like, it's fair enough. Close fight, but I think Arman won that fight. Like, if you ask me, if I was a judge, I would have had Arman up. Damir Ismagulov is dangerous, though. They could have gave Arman... They're putting Arman through the bloody trenches. Like, they could have gave him a lot easier fight. Poor guy, But they're giving him Damir Ismagulov. They're just killing hype, though. I don't understand these fights. Like, it's an amazing fight, but... maybe if it was number 1 contender versus number 2, makes sense. But they're just going to kill one of these guys and make them take a step behind. I just wish they would give these guys like fights where they're much more winnable against top guys, because top guys got to defend their rank. Enough ranting. I've got Arman by decision, Demir by decision, and fight goes over 2.5. So if you're on the side Demir, decision. If you're on the side of Arman, decision. I don't think they finish each other just because it's the same thing as I said about that other fight. What was the fight? Said and Sad Jakub. I think they're just too good to get finished by each other, although it's very possible. They're just both good enough to not get finished by each other. And I think they both win by decision. I think the odds are very close. I'd stay away from this fight. If I'm going to stay away from this fight. I'm probably not going to bet anything on it. Even this prop bet I probably won't bet because these guys are too good. They're really good. And I think as the level goes up, it gets harder for me to pick fights. Because it's like, oh, it could just go either way. They're both so good that they could finish each other. They could win a decision dominantly against each other, you know. They could make it look easy against each other. You just don't know until they go in there. And it's a very hard thing to predict. So I'd stay away from this one. But if you want some action, I like both of these guys by decision and the prop over 2.5 because I do think it goes to a decision. But I could see a late stoppage, you know. Next up, the main event. The main event. I still haven't picked a side in this fight, so I can't give you my pick because I want Sean Strickland to win because he's funny. He's a funny guy, and I like his striking style. Although it is boring, it's funny to watch because it's like he just walks down people with his jab. And Jared Cannonier, he's good, but I feel like Jared Cannonier is inconsistent in a way. Like he looks really good in a fight, got explosive power, doesn't look that good, might still win. He's got holes in his game, but he's like a good basic fighter with explosive power. But I feel like his fight IQ isn't always the best. Sean Strickland's fight IQ isn't the best either, but he's got the more straightforward style. If I was betting on this, my bets would be pretty clear. Like I feel like this is an easy thing to pick. If I'm going by props, I've got Strickland by decision, and Cannonier via KO. I don't think each subs each other. I think if Cannonier wins, it's going to be by KO. I think he's going to catch Sean Strickland. If he doesn't catch Sean Strickland, I think Sean Strickland's going to outpoint him over the 5 rounds, maybe 3 rounds to 2 or something like that. And I've got fight to start round 2 because I don't think either guy finishes each other in the first round. Like, if anyone's going to finish anybody, it's going to be Jared Cannonier, but I feel like he's going to get overwhelmed a little bit by the pressure in the first round, and it's going to take the second or third round to make those adjustments, and that's where he might start taking over, in my opinion. But first round, I don't think anybody gets finished. I think Sean Strickland's going to hold his hand a little higher this time, unlike it when he fought Alex. And I think Jared Cannonier is going to be mainly investing in that leg early, so I can't see him committing at any big KO punches. He's just going to be committing to, you know, bruising that leg of Sean Strickland's up as Strickland's moving forward. Good fight. Don't know who to pick. I'm slightly leaning on who I think is going to win to Jared Cannonier, but I want Sean Strickland to win. So do what you want. Do what you want. Great event to finish off the year. I'm a fan. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all for this channel has been very funny. We're up at the top at one point, kind of fell off a little bit. We're just cruising now. I had to take a break last week because busy. Hoping next year we can really make a stride and, you know, hopefully finish the year with 1,000 subscribers. I mean, a man can dream. Thank you all for the good year. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy everything. And as always, guys, have a good one.
Bye.